Just to clarify, this is going to be my personal top 5 favorite one-on-one fights in the MCU. And let's begin. At number 5 is Iron Man vs. Hulk in Avengers Age of Ultron. This fight's at number 5 not only because Hulk is one of my favorite characters and he's facing off against Iron Man, which is a fight that was requested for a while, and after seeing it in the trailers, the Hulkbuster armor in the trailers, people were extremely excited to see it, and the fact that he's able to throw Hulk around just makes the fight even more awesome. There's a couple great moments in this fight, such as when Iron Man punches Hulk in the face and he says he's sorry. And there's another moment where he uses a multi-punch feature to keep punching Hulk into the ground, which is just a great moment. He got a lot of laughs in the theater, and Hulk stabs a pole type thing into Iron Man's armor, and he's able to replace his arm with replacement parts, which is just a really cool new feature that Iron Man, of course, he would have, but is discovered for the first time in this movie. Seeing these two bosses go at each other is just amazing to see, and with the visual effects being top-notch, this is why this fight's at number 5.
Listen well, brother. I'm listening.
At number 4 is Iron Man vs. Thor in Avengers. This fight is at number 4 not only because it's two of the main Avengers you see on the same screen for the first time ever, other than the little meeting on the plane, but them fighting was very exciting as Thor uses his lightning to strike it at Iron Man and actually gives him more power. And seeing them throw each other around and fly up a side of a mountain, throwing it against each other, was very exciting to see. You see Thor, who had his anger at the beginning of Thor, then gained more respect and responsibility, but then you see his rage here again, and as you see both of their bad sides, kind of, because Iron Man, instead of just walking away, decided to fight him, and they end up fighting, and this clash is definitely worthy of the number 4 spot. At number 3 is Doctor Strange vs. Dormammu in Doctor Strange. Now, while most will argue this is one of the better scenes instead of fights, it is a one-on-one fight between Dormammu and Doctor Strange. Even though Doctor Strange doesn't do much attacking, it is a one-on-one fight. And the reason this is at number 3 is because not only is it one of the most creative fight scenes ever, with him putting Dormammu in the time loop and basically making it to where he can die over and over and over and still come back. It's one of the better scenes and so creative and was not spoiled in the trailers, at least for me, so it was a great surprise that it was in the movie. Not only the visual effects great, but there's so many colors, and that's only the visual aspect, but the actual quality of how he keeps putting him back in the time loop is obviously one of the more creative fight scenes I've ever seen in the MCU, and that's why it deserves the number 3 spot. At the number 2 spot is Captain America vs. Winter Soldier in Captain America Winter Soldier. One reason why this is at the number 2 spot is because of how good the fighting is. They did a lot of this work on their own with actual props, and it looks really good as they did these kind of stunts, if you call them, on set, and the result is great. Now, another reason why this is at the number 2 spot is because you can go back, you can look at, if you watch this movie without seeing or hearing any spoilers, you see this fight in a totally different light. If you go back and see it after you saw the movie, you see it a second time, you realize Captain America's fighting his best friend and doesn't know it. And that's something that's really powerful about the fight and is really creative. Because of the fight moves and the impact this fight had on the movie and the different ways you could see it, and just because of how overall it fit in with the movie, and that's why it's at the number 2 spot. At number 1, which may surprise a lot of people, is Hulk vs. Abomination in The Incredible Hulk. Now, The Incredible Hulk is one of my top 5 favorite MCU movies, and mainly because of this fight. There's obviously some fights in the beginning, but this fight is just really epic, and I saw this movie when I was young, and I loved this movie so much. And this fight just made me love this movie a million times more. Right from the immediate clash at the beginning of the fight, you know this is going to be an awesome fight, because then from there, Hulk gets car boxing gloves and pounds Abomination into the ground. And then the fight goes to a different part of town where Abomination has Hulk pinned up against the wall. And the reason I like this fight so much is just how brutal it is, and how it's both of them, just brutal power as Abomination stabs Hulk in the chest, and then Hulk gets stronger and stronger as you see his eyes glow, and he's able to lift up Abomination's arms and then throw him back into the wall. This fight is at number 1 because not only because I like the Hulk, but just because this fight gets better and better the more I watch it. I just love this movie, but I really like this fight, and which is how brutal it is, how Hulk rips out Abomination, one of his spines, and Abomination stabs Hulk with his spine, and then obviously the famous Hulk smash line. This is why it's number 1 on my list. Do you agree with my top 5? If not, let me know what your top 5 is, and thanks for watching.